Most people talk about overthinking as if it's a bad habit, as if you can simply decide to stop replaying that conversation, stop analyzing the message, stop imagining the worst case scenario, or stop needing reassurance before you move. But clinically, overthinking is rarely random. Often it's organized around protection: protection from rejection, protection from shame, protection from failure, from abandonment, and protection from being caught off guard. So today, I want to look at overthinking not as a personality flaw, but as a psychological strategy, one that can be understood through attachment theory, predictive processing, mentalization, stress neurobiology, and even Jungian shadow work. Before we rush to stop a pattern, it is worth asking, what is this pattern trying to do? In psychotherapy, symptoms often, if not always, have meaning. They can be painful, inconvenient, exhausting, but they are rarely meaningless. People pleasing may protect against rejection. Perfectionism may protect against criticism. Avoidance may protect against overwhelm. Overthinking may protect against uncertainty. So instead of asking, why am I like this, a more therapeutic question is, what part of me is this trying to prevent? John Bowlby's attachment theory helps us understand why overthinking often becomes relational. Bowlby proposed that early relationships shape internal working models, templates for what we expect from ourselves, from other people, and emotional closeness. So if connection felt steady, repair was possible, and emotional needs were responded to consistently, the nervous system may learn, I can be connected and still be safe. But if connection felt unpredictable, conditional, intrusive, rejecting, or emotionally unavailable, the system may learn something very different. I need to monitor, I need to anticipate, I need to perform, I need to make sure nothing goes wrong. And this is why for some people, a short reply doesn't feel neutral, it feels loaded. A change in tone doesn't feel like a change in tone, it feels like a warning. And silence does not feel like space, it feels like abandonment. That is not because the person is weak, it is because their attachment system is activated. Another useful concept here is mentalisation. Mentalisation is our ability to understand ourselves and the people around us in terms of internal states, feelings, intentions, desires, fears, beliefs. When we feel regulated, mentalisation is flexible. We can say, maybe they're tired, maybe this isn't about me, maybe I need more information, maybe I'm feeling triggered, but this does not mean I'm in danger. But when the nervous system is activated, mentalization becomes increasingly distorted. Suddenly, we're not reflecting, we are mind reading. They are annoyed with me. I've ruined everything. They are going to leave. I know they think I'm too much. And this is where overthinking can become dangerous because it feels like insight, but actually it's threat interpretation. Not every interpretation is intuition. Sometimes it's an old wound trying to predict the present. Neuroscience gives us another layer here. Predictive processing suggests that the brain is constantly generating predictions about what is likely to happen next. Your brain is not simply receiving reality, it is interpreting reality through previous experience. So if your past taught you that mistakes led to criticism, your brain may predict criticism. If emotional honesty led to rejection, your brain may predict rejection. If people were inconsistent, your brain may predict instability. Overthinking then becomes a prediction strategy. The mind says, let me think through every possible outcome so I don't get hurt. But the problem is that prediction is not the same as protection. Sometimes the mind is not responding to what is happening. It is responding to what it has learned to expect. A lot of overthinking is driven by intolerance of uncertainty. And uncertainty is not just uncomfortable for some people, it can feel threatening. That is why the mind keeps searching. What did they mean? What if I made the wrong choice? What if I fail? What if they leave? What if I can't cope? But here is the trap. Overthinking promises certainty, but it rarely delivers. You may get temporary relief after analyzing, checking, replaying, asking, planning, and then another question appears, because the deeper issue is not always the question. The deeper issue is the nervous system's relationship with not knowing. And this is why overthinking also makes you feel less clear over time. When the nervous system is in a threat state, the brain allocates more energy towards protection. The prefrontal cortex, which supports planning, perspective, impulse control, and decision making, does not operate the same under chronic stress. So, yes, you may be thinking constantly, but constant thinking is not the same as clear thinking. Threat narrows perception, and safety expands it. This is why regulation matters, and not because it's trendy, not because it sounds good on Instagram, but because a regulated system has more access to cognitive flexibility, emotional range, and choice. From a Jungian perspective, I would also ask, what feeling is the overthinking helping you avoid? Because sometimes overthinking keeps us in the intellect, so we do not have to meet the disowned emotional material underneath. Maybe underneath the analysis is anger, maybe grief, maybe a need that feels too vulnerable, maybe envy, resentment, shame, longing, fear. And this is where shadow work becomes relevant. Not in the superficial social media sense of write in your journal and fix yourself, but in the deeper psychotherapeutic sense of asking, what part of me have I had to reject in order to remain acceptable? Some people overthink because they're trying to avoid this part of themselves that knows the truth that they are hurt, the truth that they are angry, the truth that they want more, the truth that they are just tired of performing. So the mind keeps analyzing the situation when the deeper work may be integration. So the beginning of becoming on point is not about shaming the overthinking mind. It's about understanding it. This part of you may have been trying to protect you for a long time. It may have helped you survive unpredictable people, conditional approval, emotional instability, criticism, or environments where you had to stay alert. But the question now is this still protection, or has this become a prison? Because becoming on point means learning when your mind is guiding you and when your mind is guarding you. It means learning when reflection has turned into hypervigilance. It means becoming regulated enough that you do not need to predict every outcome before you participate in your own life. And if any of this has seemed interesting to you and you want to join me in the journey of becoming on point, then feel free to click the link in my bio or book in a session with me